It is a wonderful morning when we get news like this. Sony is finally coming to their senses. An article has been released letting us know that Kraven the Hunter, that is releasing this weekend, I actually watch it tonight, will be the final movie in the Sony Spider-Man spin-off universe, putting us out of our misery. But there's a catch.
No, please. Please don't say that.
Oh, I'm going to be diving into all the details revealed about this, how we're feeling about it, kind of taking a small look back at the Sony universe. I'll save my bigger retrospective look back whenever I rank the movies, having seen them all, and it'll just be a happy funeral to be a part of now that these movies are done. But I can't be the only one celebrating. I want to hear from you. Are you actually someone that's sad that the Sony Spider-Man spin-off universe is ending? Do you have a highlight favorite moment? Do you have any hope for Kraven the Hunter? Because now don't look like we're getting that trilogy that some were thinking we were getting. But okay, jumping into it, this article was revealed to us by The Wrap, who actually had it under a paywall. Usually, I hate news paywalls. That's where they make you pay like $1 or $2 just so you can read the article. But man, when it comes to hating on these movies, oh. I am more than happy than to bust out a couple of bucks just to be part of the end of this universe. Sony could never create an image as hard as this right here. Go ahead, take your screenshots. You're welcome. But I decided to bust out my Oscorp Industries card and pay the $2.99 just to share this glorious news with you. But the article itself actually reveals some interesting things I didn't know about. For one, they say this: while Venom the Last Dance launched in more than 4,000 movie screens in October, Kraven the Hunter will debut this Friday in just 3,000, a stark 25% reduction that's signaling waning confidence in Sony's failed Marvel experiment. Basically, what's that saying is Sony is releasing Kraven the Hunter in less screens across theaters because they just expect this thing not to be a moneymaker at the box office. And we figured that when we saw articles saying that Kraven the Hunter would open less than Morbius, even the director coming out and begging people, our movie isn't like those previous spin-offs, guys, please watch our movie. I feel like with this movie being rated R, actually treating Kraven like a villain, it's probably going to be the most decent spin-off out of all the movies. Well, I'll find out after tonight. But they do mention down the line what the future of this spin-off universe is, where it says, for Sony, the future appears to lie in projects more directly connected to Spider-Man himself. They've developed what they want to develop for now, a top talent agent told The Wrap. It's really about the next Spider-Man film. According to a second Sony insider, the studio is now focusing its efforts on Holland's highly anticipated fourth Spider-Man film, the next installment in the acclaimed Spider-Verse animated film series with Beyond the Spider-Verse, and a Spider-Noir television series featuring Nicolas Cage. Projects that lean into rather than away from the web slinger's central appeal. Meaning that Sony is going to be taking the Spider-Man IP and realizing maybe we should focus on Spider-Man. And with those three projects, you literally have a Spider-Man front and center, from Tom Holland's Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir, all actual people who wear the mask or an intriguing characters on their own, instead of relying on some random villain that probably didn't deserve their own movie. However, I did mention there was a bit of a catch with this, and that's basically that they're not permanently stopping the Spider-Man spin-off universe. What the heck? Instead, they're more putting a pause on this situation instead of continuing on, because they have all these Spider-Man centered projects to focus on. They're basically saying for the next 3 years, we should not be hearing any more updates on another Spider-Man spin-off being worked on, a sequel to maybe Kraven or Venom 4, like that was really gonna happen. And really, we shouldn't be surprised. There was only ever really one reason why Sony was doing these Spider-Man spin-off movies. And that's because in the contract Sony has with Marvel is that they're required to put a Spider-Man movie in production every 5 years. If they somehow miss the mark on making a movie every 5 years, then they lose the rights and it goes back to Marvel. This is why we so quickly had a reboot from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. But Sony knew this type of filmmaking wasn't going to last, and they were just gonna oversaturate the market with Spider-Man movie after Spider-Man movie. So their idea was, let's take a character in the Spider-Man universe, give them their own film, and then that gives us some time in between our main Spider-Man films to really make those exceptional and fun for the audience. So it was an interesting trade-off, because that means they didn't have to rush the next big Spider-Man movie and get into production right away. They could poop out a Venom 1 or a Morbius, and that would give them another 5 years to relax and sit back. And that's also why you can see a gigantic difference in quality with movies like Madam Web, Morbius, or the Venom films compared to the Spider-Man movies. I know a lot of people have enjoyed those films, mainly the Venom movies, but I was always a top tier hater because I could so easily feel the drastic change in characters, the story, the action sequences, and the overall connectivity. Like, now that this universe is kind of ending for now, it is so funny the things they were trying to do. Bringing in Vulture into the Morbius universe and having that amount to nothing, thank goodness, and I hope Vulture is still in the MCU come the next Spider-Man movie. Teasing us with the possibility of Venom and Spider-Man teaming up and then never doing anything with it. It even got so bad, Madam Web wasn't even good enough to be part of the Venom universe like originally intended, and was in its own separate pocket universe. That and just a laundry list of things. But I think the other big reason they had to stop is because audiences were not stupid, Sony. They caught on really quick. Sure, you could have fooled people with a Venom movie here and there because those were at least fun, and Venom is still a popular character. But when Morbius didn't really appeal to a lot of people, and then Madam Web was another flop, characters like Kraven are now going to have to suffer. That's why Kraven is looking to do so poorly at the box office and barely any buzz, because people are like, no, we caught on to what you're doing, Sony. You're not fooling us. Just give us Beyond the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 4. Thank you. So them having to stop the universe wasn't just because they weren't making as much money as they hoped. I think it was genuinely starting to hurt some of the Spider-Man brand a little bit. With them taking this 3-year pause, it's going to be interesting if they can kind of put their heads back together, and when they start making these spin-off movies again, because they're just going to. After Spider-Man 4 comes out, and that turns out however it does, and they have to start development on Spider-Man 5 and 6 and whatever else, they're going to want to take their time with it, and so they're going to look in their treasure chest of Spider-Man IP and go, El Muerto, it's your time to shine. But hopefully when that time comes, they could just make it more meaningful, or actually do characters that make more sense to have a solo film. Like, I think it's so crazy Spider-Man Noir is going to be a TV series instead of getting a movie. You would think with the animated Spider-Verse movie introducing audiences to a ton of different people in the Spider-Man world, they would maybe take one of those characters and give them a film. Like, heck, I'd watch a Spider-Ham movie. That to me would make a lot more sense than a frickin' El Muerto movie, man. But Sony is going to Sony. I just still can't think about the possibilities within this universe, because there was a time, remember, Spider-Man for a split second was taken out of the MCU, was going to be forced to be part of the Kraven, Venom, Morbius, Madam Web universe, until they managed to fix things, and now we're still getting Spider-Man in the MCU. But we were that close to that. Also, what if these movies were successful? What if Morbius was actually good, Madam Web was actually good, and now we would be leading up to a Sinister Six multiverse movie with all these characters coming together for some reason. But this is where I throw off to you guys. You see, Sony is deciding to put a pause to their Spider-Man spin-off universe. Are you happy it's kind of ending for now? In 3 years, when they're not focused on Spider-Man projects and need to pull out another one, who do you think they should focus on? Anything and everything, be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films, or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.